The screen is glaring at you. It is 2 a.m. You promised yourself you would sleep. You didn't. Your thumb moves again. One more video, one more post, one more useless piece of information. A soft notification chimes, a tiny sound, yet it controls you. The room is silent except for the hum of electricity. The clock ticks. Your eyes burn. Your neck aches. You know tomorrow matters. You know you should stop, but knowing changes nothing. The battle is already lost. Not because you are weak, because you are distracted. And distraction is a weapon. Every notification, every temptation, every excuse, each one cuts a little deeper. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. The book remains unopened. The workout remains unfinished. The dream remains distant. You wake up tired. You move through the day half awake. You consume more than you create. More noise, more entertainment, more comfort, less action, less discipline, less control. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a servant, not to a king, not to an enemy, but to your impulses. The ancient samurai had a wordless understanding of this danger, because they knew something you have forgotten. You are standing in a dirt courtyard, Japan, the early 16th century. The morning air is cold. Your breath rises in pale clouds. A wooden sword rests in your hands. It feels heavier than you expected. Across from you stands a man, calm, still, dangerous. His name is Miyamoto Musashi. He does not waste movement. He does not waste words. He studies everything. The wind, the ground, your posture, your breathing. Nothing escapes his attention. You tighten your grip. You prepare yourself. You think the battle will be decided by strength. Musashi knows better. The battle begins long before swords cross. It begins in the mind. A fly lands nearby. You glance at it. For half a second. That is enough. Musashi notices. A warrior who loses attention loses everything. A wandering mind becomes a defeated body. This was Musashi's lesson, not just for combat, for life. He wrote about it in the Book of 5 Rings. Observe, study, remain present, never become careless, because the enemy waits for carelessness. The modern world calls distraction harmless. Musashi would call it fatal. Imagine carrying water from a river. Every drop matters. Now imagine a hole in the bucket. The water leaks away. That is your attention. Every notification, every unnecessary thought, every meaningless scroll. Another hole, another leak, another loss. Musashi trained relentlessly, not because he loved suffering, because he understood reality. Discipline creates freedom. Weakness creates dependence. The warrior who trains when he feels motivated is unreliable. The warrior who trains regardless becomes unstoppable. You stand in the courtyard. The wooden sword feels heavier now. Your arms ache. Your shoulders burn. You want to stop. Musashi does not care what you want. He cares what must be done. Again, again, again. The same movement. Thousands of repetitions. One strike, then another, then another. No shortcuts, no excuses, no negotiations. Because mastery is built from repetition, not inspiration. The lesson follows you across 4 centuries. The battlefield changed. Human nature did not. Today, your sword is attention. Your battlefield is time. And your enemy is comfort. The war remains the same. Musashi understood something most people never learn. The mind obeys whatever it practices. Practice distraction, become distracted. Practice discipline, become disciplined. Simple, brutal, unavoidable. Now the forging begins. You wake up early, the alarm rings. Immediately the negotiation starts. 5 more minutes, tomorrow will be better. You deserve rest. Musashi would recognize this voice. It is not wisdom, it is resistance. The enemy speaking through comfort. Most people listen. That is why most people remain average. Discipline begins when negotiation ends. You get up, not because you feel like it, because you decided. That distinction changes everything. Feelings are temporary. Decisions endure. Bushido demanded commitment, not convenience. The warrior's duty did not disappear when conditions became difficult. Why should yours? The gym is boring. The study session feels exhausting. The work seems overwhelming. None of these facts matter. The mission remains. Musashi fought over 60 duels. He understood pressure, fear, uncertainty. Yet he continued forward. Not because fear vanished, because purpose became stronger. Modern people wait for confidence. Warriors act first. Confidence arrives later. That is the secret. Action creates confidence, not the reverse. Every excuse sounds reasonable. That's what makes excuses dangerous. I'm tired. So is everyone else. I don't have time. You spent 3 hours scrolling. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Bushido strips away illusions. Reality remains. The result you want requires actions you avoid. Nothing more, nothing less. Harsh, but true. The samurai sharpened blades. You sharpen habits. The process is identical, repeated, daily, without drama, without applause, without immediate reward. One disciplined action, then another, then another. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become identity. Eventually, discipline no longer feels like effort. It becomes who you are. That is when transformation happens. Not when motivation peaks, when consistency becomes automatic. Musashi called this strategy. Seeing clearly, acting decisively, remaining unmoved. Most people are controlled by circumstances. The warrior controls himself. And self-control is power, the highest form of power, because nobody can take it from you. Now, return to the room. Return to the screen. Return to 2 a.m. The phone glows. The notification appears. The same sound, the same temptation, the same opportunity to fail. But something has changed. You hear the notification. You do not react. You observe it, the way Musashi observed an opponent, calmly, without emotion, without urgency.
You understand what it is, a distraction, nothing more. The urge appears, you watch it. The urge grows, you watch it. The urge fades, you watch it. You are no longer its servant, you are its witness. The phone remains on the bed, untouched. The room becomes quiet again. The clock continues ticking. But this time, the ticking feels different. Not threatening, not oppressive. Steady, controlled, the way a warrior's heartbeat sounds before battle. You place the phone face down. A simple movement, yet it carries the weight of a sword strike. One clean decision, one victory. The world outside remains chaotic. The notifications continue. The distractions multiply. The noise never ends. But the noise is no longer your master, because Miyamoto Musashi's lesson was never about swords. It was about command. Command over attention, Command over action, command over yourself. You turn off the light. Darkness fills the room. The battle is over. Not because the enemy disappeared, because you finally learned how to face it. The clock reads 2:01 a.m. You close your eyes. Your breathing slows. Your mind remains still. And somewhere beyond the noise of the modern world, the old warrior smiles. Not with pride, not with approval, simply with recognition. Because at last, you have begun to walk the way of the warrior.